President Reagan traveled to China for the first time almost 40 years ago when Louis Rukeyser talked about a very different Chinese economy and a very different level of U.S. debt.
Meanwhile, the Republicans were glorying in the marvelous media coverage of Ronald Reagan's smiling trip to communist China, a voyage that might have seemed as unlikely 4 years ago as, say, a $200 billion deficit. There is, at least this time around, a little less of the euphoria in the U.S. business community that prevailed when that other virulent anti-communist Richard Nixon went to China in 1972.
To take us through just how far the Chinese economy has come since President Reagan's visit in 1994, here's Bloomberg International Economics and Policy correspondent Michael McKee.
As an old movie actor, Ronald Reagan knew that in politics, as in show business, timing is everything. After presiding over two of the deepest recessions in American history, by 1984, President Reagan was running for re-election and anxious to frame the morning in America again economy. He found a willing partner in China's Deng Xiaoping. Deng, presiding over an economy devastated by the Cultural Revolution, was opening up the country to foreign investment and trade, music to Reagan's ears. One thing China had in abundance was cheap labor. It became a manufacturing powerhouse, and export-led growth turbocharged the economy. On a dollar basis, it is now the second largest in the world, right behind the U.S. And Reagan helped, lifting trade sanctions on China. That had an important impact on the U.S. as well. From Reagan's time through Obama's presidency, Americans saw inflation and interest rates fall to almost nothing. They also saw millions of factory jobs disappear and a hollowing out of American manufacturing. That's created big tensions between the Chinese and the U.S., a trade war, and sanctions again. China has also run into the law of big numbers. It cannot continue to keep growing at the same pace. Indeed, exports jumped post-pandemic but are now falling off. The post-pandemic economy is, by China's standards, sputtering. And with it, the U.S.-China relationship. Janet Yellen isn't likely to get the same reception Reagan found almost 40 years ago.